If you love Wendy's classic chocolate and vanilla Frosty flavors, we have some big news. There are all new Frosty Swirl and Frosty Fusion flavors, so it's the same creamy treat you've always loved, now with a flavor refresh. So what are these new flavors? Okay, we've got the Frosty Swirls, strawberry, brownie batter, and caramel, and the Frosty Fusions, Oreo brownie, caramel crunch, and Pop-Tart strawberry. You can even get one at midnight or later, a refresh on a classic.
Gotta be Wendy's.
Welcome to the 4-Point Play presented by Wendy's. I'm your host, Alexis Davis, and we have a very special guest today. And we'll just take a moment to read all of her accolades. So first, 2019 McDonald's All-American, 3-time All-Pac-12, Pac-12 Tournament Most Outstanding Player, NCAA Tournament Most Outstanding Player, 2021 NCAA Champion, and number 6 overall pick in the 2023 draft. Haley Jones.
Thank you.
Did I miss anything?
I hope not.
I hope not either. That list was long.
Sounds good.
So kind of going back to the name of the podcast, the 4-Point Play, to me, it's really just when a player just maximizes. Like, obviously, we love a good 3-point shot, but when you also go ahead and make that free throw to make it a 4-point play, it's just really about the player maximizing that experience. So for you, how would you say you maximize each experience that you get in life?
Oh, wow. How do I maximize all my experiences? I think I really am big on just staying in the moment with things and trying to be present, not try to think too far ahead. I have a lot of goals and a lot of ambitions, but I'm not going to get there by putting that pressure on myself every single day. I just try to think small, tangible things every single day. And with that, I feel like I'm able to stay present, stay in the moment, be where my feet are, be with my family, be with my friends, and just kind of stay with my inner circle is how I make the most of everything.
So we're going to take a quick intermission to do our famous Frosty taste test. So bear with us. Okay, we have our famous Frosty, and obviously it's a traditional snack, but we still love a good taste test. And we guessed that Haley loves vanilla, and we got it right.
Thank you.
Allegedly, if we would have got chocolate, she wouldn't have ate it, you guys. So.
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's taste. I'm 10 out of 10.
Tens.
Tens
across the board.
Give Wendy's their 10?
Period.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's been the most fun about being in Dallas?
I think just the people here. I really feel like I've been welcomed being a mid-season addition here. From the support staff to the coaches, especially to my teammates, I just think that they've done a really good job of welcoming me. And I remember even the first time I subbed in at CPC, and I was like, oh, I don't know if the fans know me or anything. And they were turned up when I subbed in the game. I was like, okay, this is lit. So I've really felt at home here, and it's been really fun.
So for you, obviously, true ups and downs from the season, from beginning to now. What are some things that you do to really just be intentional about your mental health?
I think for me, it's always been who I've surrounded myself with. So after getting waived by Atlanta, and then I moved back home, and so it was really just around my people. So my family, childhood friends, got to be around, get back in the gym with my trainers and really lock into why I love it and figure out what I can bring to the game, and really just finding myself again. And I feel like in these past few weeks being here in Dallas, I've really found my style of play again, which I think has shown on the court.
For sure. So for me at home, watching the draft in 2023, and I always turn my TV on early because I just love the orange carpet, everything about it. So I always tune in early. For me, seeing you in the green, the green was a moment. And to me, it was like the perfect, like it fit you right. It was like a nice, like it was still your style, but it kind of was like grown woman, elevated a little bit. So for you, when you saw the green, what made you say like, okay, that's the one that I'm going to wear?
Well, I feel like most of my wardrobe is very neutral. So I was like, okay, let me pick my favorite color for the draft. So I wanted to go green. I felt like I had a good tan going on. So I was like, okay, let me get some color. So I felt really good about it. And then I saw Sergio Hudson's work, not only with like Michelle Obama, but what he did with Charlie Collier a few years ago for her draft. And I was like, okay, this is really cool. So then working with him, going through some of the stuff that he had, and I felt like it was a good mix for me because I'm usually pretty modest in my fashion. I'm not into showing a lot of skin, but I was like, okay, give it a little bralette. Legs are half my body, so let me show off the legs. And then I liked the blazer moment, which made it still feel very classy, very chic, very grown woman. So it was perfect.
So for you, obviously it was your moment, but also to be able to wear a black designer on the carpet. How did it make you feel to be able to check 2 boxes off all in the same moment?
Yeah, I mean, two birds with one stone for real. Like, I just think that it made sense. It was a partnership that felt very authentic. I've always loved his fashion sense and what he's been able to do with making women look classy and modest, chic and stuff, like all these things at the same time. I think the duality of his pieces are really special. So to work with him, it was honestly an honor of mine. So it was really amazing, especially with just all the cool people that he's worked with before.
So are you a heels girly or not really?
I'm a heels girly.
Okay.
I think I am. Recently, I've been getting into a bit of a kitten heel moment, but I love a high heel. I used to hate them when I was younger, but I feel like now I'm trying to feel tall all the time.
So when you were learning how to walk in heels, was it just more so like wearing them a lot is how you learned? Or was it just, did someone teach you? Did you go on YouTube? Like, how did you learn to walk in
It
heels?
was my mom making me walk around the house because she was like, okay, if you're going to wear them, which at the time I didn't want to, but I had to for an event. And she's like, well, if you're going to wear them, you're going to look good doing it because you don't want to be looking like a baby giraffe
Yeah.
walking around stumbling.
Knees are bent.
And I'm
yeah.
already the type to trip and fall. So I was like, okay. So I was doing laps around the house and then I got my strut on. It was good.
So for me, in preparing for this episode, I learned about your investment in pickleball.
Thank you.
And to me, I just was like, wow, what a girl. Like really just to have that, just that foreshadowing to know that like pickleball was going to be like one of the next big things, because it really has become a true leisure time of people, just because it's like, it's not as intensive. It's kind of like tennis, but not really, where it's like, if you're 5 years old, you can play. If you're 95, you can play. So what was it about pickleball that said, okay, this is somewhere I want to put my money?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports in the world right now. And my first introduction to it was middle school PE. And I was like, okay, this is kind of lit. I'm done with basketball. I'm a pickleballer. But that didn't end up being the case. But I think it's always just been really fun. And it's an accessible sport for all ages. You know, you don't have to be super mobile to do it. Honestly, old people be beating me when I play at the rec center. So it's really fun. And to be a part of the MLP and the LA Mad Drops, it's really exciting. I think I'm one of 3 women owners. I know Jewel Lloyd is the other W player that's a part of it, and she plays like for real, for real.
She gets down.
She gets down. I got to match that. But I just think to be a part of a league that's growing right now, being one of the few women investors is really important. And I think I've always tried to see the big picture, and I know that one day the ball's going to stop bouncing. So I want to set myself up for the life I want to have when I'm done. So to invest in something that's so fast growing, I think it was just kind of perfect timing for that opportunity.
So for someone that would want to do something like that, whether if it's ownership in a pickleball team or becoming a minority owner in an NBA team or whatever that looks like, what are some tips you would give them to make sure that, like, one, it's feasible, but also that it's something that they really want to do? Like, what were some things that I guess maybe a mental checklist that you went through to say, like, okay, this is something that I really want to do?
Well, I think with every partnership that I get into, I want to make sure it's something authentic to me and something that I genuinely enjoy. Because I think you could tell when you're watching some ads online or people put out, you're like, you have never touched that product. Or like, why are you promoting this? And so I think pickleball is something that I believe in as a growing sport. I think that it's amazing how accessible it is to everybody. And I think it's also like, it's a huge shout out to my agency in bringing me different opportunities and knowing what I would be interested in. And so for them to help me think long term and make sure when I sign deals, they're not just for 1 year. You want to think of being a partner of the brand. And so with pickleball and other investments and equity in places that I have, I think it's always just been thinking long term. And so my advice to people is just to think of yourself as a brand. And so who do you want to align yourself with? What are you interested in? Not only what can you get from it, but what can you give back to make sure that it's truly aligned with you?
So going back to Stanford a little bit, when you were in high school trying to figure out, like, okay, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? What was it about Stanford that said, like, okay, this is the school for me?
I think I've always thought big picture, and I think a lot of that's a credit to my parents. But I don't know. So like Sue Bird played for 20 years. I don't know if I'm going to play for 20 years. I don't know if I want to play for 20 years. And so it's always thinking that 40-year decision. And so I think with Stanford, you really get the best of both worlds, having a degree that's going to set you up for a lifetime while still being able to play for a Hall of Fame coach, be an All-American, win national championships, win Pac-12 championships. So it's really hard to turn down once you get in. And that application was horrible. I wouldn't do it again. But like once you get in, it's really hard to turn down that opportunity.
What were some things that you did? Because as you mentioned, the curriculum at Stanford is so rigorous. What were some things, and then obviously there's a lot that's asked of you as a student athlete. So what were some things that you did to really balance out both to make sure you were showing up for yourself in the classroom, but then also you were ready to go once it was time to play as well?
Yeah, well, freshman fall is a humbling experience. It really is for every Stanford student that comes in. I mean, you come from high school where I didn't need to study for anything. I just pull up and do well my exam. I'll write a paper on the way to school. And then I tried to do that, and it was like, girl, no, these are geniuses. My roommate was like, had a refugee project, and the
Oh
guy
my
across the
goodness.
street had across the dorm, he was like selling his tech to Google. So I really had to lock in. But I think it really just came down to time management and prioritizing like I'm not gonna have basketball unless I have school. And then once NIL came to the picture, NIL was last on the list because you need school, then you got to perform on the court, and then you get these other opportunities. So I think balancing school and athletics is really difficult while still having a social life and being a college kid and figuring things out. But I think it was all about prioritizing. And once I got my time management down, it wasn't too bad. It's as hard as you make it.
And how did you approach picking out a major?
I've always been interested in journalism, and so they don't have a specific journalism major at Stanford. So through communications, I was able to take film study courses, journalism courses, public speaking, African American studies, and really make it what I wanted it to be.
So obviously you mentioned Hall of Fame coach in college and just what that does to you, obviously to push you naturally, whether that's on the court, in the classroom, et cetera. What would you say has been your biggest takeaway from just having that leadership?
I think during my time at Stanford in that program, I think it really taught me how to be a pro. I think it taught me how to show up every day, you know, on time is late, being early is how you roll, just all these different little things that have really helped me kind of assimilate to this pro culture pretty easily. I think just the way that I carry myself, the way that I approach things, I think I took a lot of that from my Stanford experience.
And then also in college, having to navigate a few things, whether it's COVID, injury, et cetera. What were some other, I know you mentioned like family and friends and who you surround yourself really helps you, you know, take on that mental battle every day. But when it was during COVID, when all of us, we didn't know what was going to happen, no one had ever seen something like that before. What were some things that you did to make sure like, okay, I'm going to be back on the court at some point, but what are some things that you did to make sure that you were prepared to get back on the court when things started opening up again?
Yeah, I mean, during COVID was when I was rehabbing for my knee injury, and then we didn't at Stanford end up going back to school until September when most people got back in July, and we were being tested like 9 times a week when we got back, so it was crazy. But I think the thing that really set me up for success was just going day by day, just like I spoke about earlier, just showing up and doing what I can that day, not trying to think long term, but okay, what's my next progression this week? What can I do today? What can I do tomorrow? And I think staying grounded in that really helped me just feel ready to get back when I was, because I wasn't like, oh, I'm timing it up for July and now we're pushing back, or I'm timing it up for whatever. It was really just a day by day process.
Played a little bit in Australia. When you were there, what were some things that you did for fun?
So much. My teammates were so awesome. I still talk to them all the time, but it was so cool. I was in a small town of Geelong, which reminds me of my hometown in California, just a small little beach town. And it's like 20 minutes from the start of the Great Ocean Road. So I was up at the beach. I got a bike on Facebook Marketplace, so me and my teammates would bike around. My coach got me like a little, like My Little Pony helmet, so I was safe. We boogie boarded. I went and fed kangaroos. I was like an hour from Melbourne, so I got to explore different parts of Australia. But it was really cool because it was a really young team, so we're all kind of the same age. And it was the first year as a club, so we got really close. I went to like an Australian footy game and practice. It was very lit.
What was one thing that surprised you about Australia?
Besides some of their slang, I think maybe the wildlife, like the spiders, people talk about it, but there was a lot. But people were so nice. One thing I really miss about there is the cafe culture. And I could walk and their coffee was fire. I do miss that a lot. But I think, I don't know, everywhere you go, the lifestyle is a little bit different. And I feel like I've taken bits and pieces from it.
Can you tell us one of their slang?
Some of the slang?
Yeah. Just one.
Oh my gosh, I was like, I have so much. I love "Oh My Days." That's a favorite of mine.
When do you like? Can you like use it in a sentence?
Yeah, like if something, it's kind of like "Oh my God" or like "Oh, like I messed up" or something like that. I'm like, "Oh my days!" Like I love that. Or I heard that, as we would call a redhead, a ginger. They call it oranga, which is crazy. kind of like orangutan. And I was like, whoa, that seems crazy. But they have a lot of slang that I really enjoy. So yeah.
So amongst all your travels, what's one destination that you're like, oh, I must go there?
Dang, I have like a whole notes page of bucket list places.
Okay, give us three. Give us three.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Africa. Specifically, my grandparents have been to this like Londolozi reserve place. So I'm trying to convince them to take me. And
For free.
For the free, duh. I'm still on their dime. I'm staying on that cell phone bill forever. So Africa, specifically Londolozi. I really want to do like a ski trip in the Swiss Alps or something. I think that could be lit. And I want to go somewhere more easily I could get to. Is I want to go to Mexico City and explore.
Okay.
And I want to see, oh, sorry, you said 3 or 4. I want to see all of the wonders of the world. So I'm trying to
All
see
of them.
Great Wall. I'm trying to see the city in Jordan. I'm trying to see the pyramids, all the things.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching our episode with Haley. She's been such a joy, learned so much, and we wish her well on all of her travels. And thank you guys so much for tuning in.
That's what I